So in order to say how old you are, you cannot say I am in Spanish. You have to say I have. So if you say I am 20 years old, you have to say tengo. Okay. So you would ask, ¿Cuántos años tienes? And then you would say tengo. So what you're asking is, how many years do you have? I have so many years. So if you want to say, I am 20, you need to say, I have 20 years. So you would say, tengo 20 años. We're going to be using the verb tener, which is to have. And then if you say, I have, then you say, tengo. So I am 20 would be tengo 20 años. Then if I want to ask how old are you or how many years do you have, then we're going to say ¿Cuántos años tienes? And this is why we don't need to use the words you or I, because each different form of the verb is different. So you can only ever mean you if you say tienes. You can only mean I if I say tengo. And then if we want to talk about Maria, how old is Maria? How many years does Maria have? Maria has so many years. Then we need to use a different form yet, which is ¿Cuántos años tiene María? So in order to convey meaning, it's actually okay to not get your endings absolutely correctly, as long as people can understand you. That's not going to be a huge problem. Now, we're going to be looking at the numbers, and we looked at 1 to 20. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we've got the hardest ones, which is 11 to 20, because they're mostly irregular. We've got 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Notice it's not quince, it's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that's 20 there. So basically what you're saying from 16 onwards, you're actually saying 10 and the number. But what we're doing is we are actually changing the spelling, because Z and I and Z and E never go together. So basically you get your difficult ones out of the way. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then you go 10 and 5, 10 and 6, 10 and 7, 10 and 8. That's what you're saying. And we're actually going to be doing the same thing with 20. So we've got 20, and then we're going to be saying 20 and 5, 20 and 2, 20 and 3, right? And it's going to be the same for your rest of the numbers all the way up to 100. So we've got 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. So if you then want to add a number after any of those, you just say and plus the number. It's pretty straightforward, that one. The only thing that with 20, we actually changed the spelling and the E, just because it's a little bit clumsy to go 20, E. That diphthong in Spanish is a little bit hard to pronounce. So people just eat up the E and just leave it with the Y. But in order to spell it a little bit more aesthetically acceptable, we just change it to an I. So it's 21, 22, and so on. But then with the rest is basically 30 and 1, 30 and 2, 30 and 3. Just like 31, 32. The same with 40, 44, 45. So 40 and 5, 50 and 7, and so on. It's like that with all the numbers all the way up to 100. So basically, if you know how to say 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90, and you know your numbers all the way up to 9, you know your numbers up to 100. Now, if you want to say 100 plus something, then you just change the word cien for the word ciento, and then you add the number. So you've got 101, ciento uno.